Hello everybody, it's Carla Sanders, the Cosmic Crone, and I'm here to speak with you about Wise Women Lead. We are doing a series beginning to explore the qualities, characteristics, challenges, and brilliance of being a wise woman leader. And I come here live to you every day to talk about it, usually I don't know what I'm going to talk about. In fact, it's already 6 o'clock on a Friday night. I should be out. I'm supposed to be somewhere right now, but I only just got what I need to tell you about. And interestingly enough, it's something I have been pondering all day. It's a place where I'm personally challenged right now. So of course, I'm going to talk to myself and tell myself what I need to hear. And I have no idea what that's going to be. Before I begin what will be a rather brief presentation, I'm going to share this live stream over to my Wise Women Lead group. So give me a moment for my computer to behave itself. Are we here? Yes. So there's the share. Thank you. So I'm going to find the Wise Women Lead group. And that's done. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Hi, somebody's joined me while I was doing that little bit of technical stuff. So what we're going to speak about today is wise women leaders aligned to the vision. Now, I mentioned in my pre-ramble that I'm somewhat challenged about that right now. I have a big mission and I have a vision, but it of late, it's been feeling a little amorphous. And it could be that it's in the process of changing. Sometimes the vision goes cloudy when it's time to shift something, when I am out of alignment with, and so there's something else that wants to come in, some aspect of the vision that needs to change. And I don't know what that is yet, so all I can feel is that I can't get a handle on it. I can't get a picture of it. I'm not quite sure. So let's talk about why it's important for wise women leaders to align to the vision. Leaders, I believe, are by definition visionary. You're here for a reason. You're taking leadership of some aspect of life. It could be, depending on where you are in your life, it could be an idea that you want to support and communicate and gather a movement around. It could be a business. It could be that you're taking leadership as part of a bigger, someone else's bigger vision, a bigger collective vision, like a social justice movement or something political. It could be something like permaculture and local food. I mean, all of those things are part of my vision. So very often our visions include, they're so much bigger than we are. That's one reason it can be difficult to align, because it can feel huge, much bigger than our small little lives and our sense of maybe not being quite ready or adequately prepared or wondering if we have the skills to pull it off. And so we can hold back and distract ourselves or spend all of our time learning and getting ready and not really stepping into our power, opening our throats and our mouths and letting our voice ring out and getting some traction on our vision. So aligning with the vision is absolutely necessary. And some of the problems when you don't align with the vision is that you spend all your time preparing. I'm getting ready. I need another degree, another training, another coaching program, I got to heal this thing that's been chasing me all my life. Or you create a new reason, like your health fails, or there's a family crisis, or there's a natural disaster. Something will happen to pull you off and keep you out of alignment with your vision. So it's a discipline. It's work in the sense of you have to stay focused on it and keep coming back to it. And there are some skills involved and some tools that you know how to use that you have to practice using so that you can stay aligned to your vision. And that is exactly where I'm at right now. I am looking at all the ways I've been pulled off my vision this week, doing work that I should have had someone else do for me, or simply zoning out, or feeling just overwhelmed. There's too much to do. Where shall I start? And so one day I'll work my ass off getting through a do list, and another day it's like I can't even find the list or the calendar, and so I'm busy, but I'm not particularly effective. And both of those situations are representing me not being aligned with my vision. And I'm learning, I'm noticing what's happening and why it's happening. It's a form of resistance. It's a form of not wanting to take the risk, not wanting to show up fully in my power, listening to voices, in the back of my head saying, who do you think you are? Or, people like us don't do that. Or, look at all these things that you got wrong all your life. Do you really think you can pull this off? I mean, gosh, we are so nasty to ourselves, and I am not immune. And all of those things pull us off our vision. Now, I'm going to be talking about this. I'm calling this part 1 because I know I'm going to come back to this theme, because I'm going to keep coming back until I get it for myself, because my vision and my mission require me to show up. No one else can do what I do the way I do it. There are lots of other people who have a similar mission. We are part of a collective, a bigger movement when we are working with sexual energy and leadership and earth energy and spirit and the things that matter to me and that you've heard me talking about for years. Thank God I'm not the only one. But no one can do what I do, how I do it. No one can fill my role, just like no one can fill your place with your vision. So one of the ways that we can get pulled off the vision is to say, oh, my idea that was so original a year ago or 10 years ago, everybody's doing it. No, that means your time has come. You have been sending that idea, that vision out into the field, and the universe is saying, it's time. Everybody's ready. You're ready to say it. They're ready to hear it. Now step up. That's the message. So one thing I was thinking about as I was getting ready to come on is when have I had an experience of aligning with the vision that I can call upon? And I realized moving to Maine, I aligned with the vision of moving my family from New York City to live in Maine. And the interesting thing is I had the vision. It was a semi-conscious vision. I knew what I wanted, and I wanted it so badly that it overcame any objections or resistance that I might put up to it. It had me evaluating the challenges and rising to meet them, and doing it essentially on my own. My husband was not quite on board. He did move to Maine with us, but he wasn't really committed. He did not quite share the vision. In fact, he's a good example of what can happen when your belief in your limitations and the objections to going ahead with the vision is stronger than your belief in the vision. I believed in the vision, and my children were on board. Everybody wanted to move to Maine. So I'll keep this short. We decided, we actually were on vacation in Maine. Some friends of ours had moved here to this area, and we came to visit them. And that's a big whole other story, quite a dramatic story that was life-changing in itself. And part of what came out of all that is I said, I'm moving my family to Maine. We need to live here. And for me, it was about being in nature again, connecting to nature, connecting to the sky. I had had enough of the city in a way that I didn't even understand. And my children were at a place where they didn't feel safe in the city. And it was just time. It was time for this change. I was called here, and I didn't quite understand it that way at the time, but that's exactly what was happening. And so that's the other thing. Your vision will call you. Maybe I'll do another talk about that. So we get back to New York. We're getting reorganized, ready for the new school year. I was going back to work on my master's degree, and we were starting a kitchen renovation. And I decided I want to move to Maine. Well, what that means is there was some unfinished business in New York. I could have dropped out. I could have pulled my kids out of school right then. I could have said, screw the kitchen, let's just go. But I wasn't in the mood to do that. Somehow I felt like I needed to complete these various projects. I'd already dropped out of college once years ago and had to go back and finish. I wasn't going to drop out of this master's degree, that I was halfway through. So we just started planning. Most of the focus was on let's finish what we've started here, and then we'll move. And that's where the energy was. And then the kids, after a year, they said, "Mom, you said we were moving to Maine." Yeah, we are, but we've got to finish up a few things. Well, when? So it became the second year after the decision was made was about, well, okay, I can see the end. We're finishing these projects. What's it going to take to move to Maine? So that year I researched getting a job. I was a school teacher at the time, and we planned a winter vacation to see how we liked it in the winter, because Maine is wonderful in the summer, but the winter is another matter. And of course we loved it in the winter. Everybody went skiing, snow. What's not to love? We didn't realize at the time you kind of wonder why you moved to Maine is April when it's still winter. But February was fabulous. So we came home, and what we did in February was we got a newspaper. We got a subscription to the local newspaper in the town that we had chosen, Camden, Maine. And so that is huge part of aligning with the vision, because we were immersing ourselves in local news and looking at the real estate and figuring out where we would live. And somewhere along the line, I got a job, sight unseen. I think I had to go back to Maine for an interview, maybe in the summer, and I got the job. And we found a winter rental, from September 1st through whenever, May 31st, something like that. That's very common up here in vacation land. People will rent out their vacation homes to people. And so we had a place to live. I had a job, and it was just a matter of packing. And so I'm still, yeah, the vision is coming together, and it's not 100% smooth. There are obstacles. My husband's resistant. All the things needing to get done are hard to do. And, sometimes the tug of the old life, but, I'm going to miss my friends and the city and art and things. But we knew we were moving. Little did we know. We knew we were moving to the art capital of Maine, but 25 years ago, Rockland was not there yet. But that's where we were going. So we knew we'd be fine. People think there's nothing to do in Maine. There's so much to do in Maine all year long. So I'm just going to close with this idea, and it will probably come up again in part 2. The vision was not quite complete. We had a beautiful home on a lake, but we had to get out May 31st or June 15th or something like that. So I had to scramble and find another rental because we still hadn't found our forever home. And what was interesting is that there had been a house for sale the whole time, the whole winter. For a year and a half, we'd been looking at this house for sale in the want ads in Hope, Maine. A gentleman's farm, a classic white farmhouse, red barn, giant maple tree, gardens, beautiful view out the front, southern exposure, northern exposure. It had everything. And it had enough bathrooms and enough bedrooms, but it was way out of our price range. And at that time, 25 years ago, $200,000. Couldn't imagine paying that, affording that. And that summer when we were looking at houses, I drove past that house with my realtor, and there was a new real estate sign there. And I said, oh, that's changed. That used to be with X agency, and now it's with Y agency. See, oh yeah, and now the price has dropped considerably. And all of a sudden, this dream house was in my reach. And I think I'm going to leave you with that cliffhanger, because that's what happens when you're aligned to the vision. And I thank you for allowing me to share this with you, because I needed to remember it. I needed to remember that the vision can be so strong, so real, so powerful. You see yourself there. And that doesn't mean that it's smooth sailing and no problems. There were lots of obstacles. 2 years. 2 years. And we're not done with the obstacles yet. So, wise women leaders align with the vision. What's your vision? Why don't you tell me about it in the comments? See you tomorrow.